On today's episode, I will be unboxing and reviewing the new Busybee 18-inch professional bandsaw, giving you my honest opinion, pros versus cons, and if I had made the right purchase. Stay tuned. Lost my damn drill again. Found the drill. Wrong bit. Aha! Please note that this video was not sponsored. There is no paid promotions. This was 100% out of my own pocket. And I am just a guy giving my own honest opinion on this piece of machinery.
3, 2, 1, go!
So in this package here, we have the manual. We also have a 4-inch dust port that goes on the side of the machine. We have a bag of hardware. We have the blade guard wheel, the tool for the table adjustment, and a bag of wrenches and Allen keys for installation. Oh, and yes, the keys. And before I lose them, I am going to put them in there forever home. Now, at first glance, this machine looks heavy duty with these solid cast iron 18-inch wheels. Here we have a gauge for the blade tensioning. On the lower wheel, it has a dust brush to wipe off any dust off the wheel so it doesn't get in the way of the blade. Here we have a magnetic switch, which is nice, with lockout feature. Up here we have your blade tensioner for quick release. Here's a locking knob for our guard crank. Here's our fence, which is made out of extruded aluminum. Push stick, save our fingers, made out of plastic. Miter fence. Now keep in mind the door on this is made out of one piece, not two. Here we have the table, which is covered in packaging oil, which I recommend cleaning off or you'll get very messy. Now it's time to install the table with 4 3/4-inch bolts. The table is slightly heavy, so just be careful with your back. So far everything is going well, until out of the corner of my eye, I see this. Yep, that is a crack on the edge of the table, the brand new table. So, a little disappointing there. But I must say, their customer service is great. I was on the phone with them immediately, and they will have one shipped out to me within a week. So, it is what it is, but could be worse. Anyway, back to the table install. Install these 4 3/4-inch bolts. Now before we tighten everything up, we need to make sure that the blade is as parallel to the table as possible. So I set a straight edge across the blade, kind of eyed it up, and measured from the slot of the miter gauge on each end, making sure that they are equal. Now you can go ahead and tighten up those 4 bolts. Next is the fence guide rail, which is installed with 2 bolts feeding through the table on one end with 2 nuts and washers on the back side. Now this as well needs to be measured on each end to make sure that it's parallel with the table. So before tightening it down, measure each end. In this case, we have 1 7/8 on each end. So we're pretty much bang on. So we'll snug them up. And check one last time that nothing moved. Now go ahead and install your fence on the guide rail. I must say the fence feels pretty nice, has a nice free range of motion, very smooth. Time to lift this beast off the skid it came on. Again, this machine weighs quite a bit, so be careful. It comes in at a whopping 255 kilos, which is equivalent to about 562 pounds. Next, install your crank wheel for your guard, which is with 1 Allen key bolt. This is your tensioner to lock it. This here is your lock for your blade tensioner, so it does not free up on you. Next, go ahead and install the 4-inch dust collector port on the side of the machine. Make sure it's angled down, not upwards. Now this is your tool to rotate the table to your preferred bevel. Now I'm going to set a speed square against the blade and the table to make sure that it is 90 degrees. Now it is at a square a little bit, so I'm going to crank the tool until it hits the square perfectly on the blade and the table. When that is complete, there's an adjustment screw underneath the table. Tighten that up so the table doesn't go out of 90 degrees. Now it is time to make sure that our blade is set at the correct tension. This is your quick release, showing you here that it's loose. Tighten that back up. Go around the other side. You'll take a look at the gauge and verify that it is set at 3/4 inch to coincide with our 3/4 inch blade shown here. Now, if you can see between these 2 bearings, it's not set correctly, so we need to adjust using our Allen key wrench. Loosen off one side at a time, move it till it pretty much hits the blade. Tighten back up, do the same on the opposite side. There's also a bearing behind the blade. Loosen that off, adjust it according, and make it touch the blade as well. You want only the teeth to protrude past the front of the bearings. Do the same with the lower unit. Loosen, adjust, tighten, make sure everything's good and tight. Now I'm going to do a free spool to make sure everything is running well. I don't hear any odd noises, anything rubbing. Note this machine does not come with a plug end, so have your licensed electrician address this before operating. Now for the test. Let's say it is very quiet compared to my old machine. Now one thing I did not notice is that it has a safety feature on the door, so when opened, the power shuts off immediately. Now for my honest opinion, pros and cons. I really do like having this brake feature, as I can stop the blade as soon as I'm done cutting my material. The magnetic switch is a big plus with lockout feature. Here's the safety shutoff, which is good to avoid any injuries. The dust brush is nice to have. Keep that dust out of there. The blade guard crank moves really free. It's nice and smooth. It's a little slow though. So all that being said, those are my pros, my cons on this machine. Start with the tool supply. To change the angle of the table, I would have liked to have seen a bolt go through that. I'm going to lose that, I can guarantee it. Second is dust collection. There's 2 dust ports, one on the side, one on the rear. They did not supply a T. So now I have to go back to the store and get a T to plumb in my dust collection. This knob here is to make sure you're 90 degrees to your table and your blade. This resaw bar here is removable. The fence slides smoothly. This here is to tighten your fence, which is made out of plastic, both knobs. Hinges are solid. Locking knobs are solid, which are also plastic. So I'd say overall I'm fairly happy with this machine, how it has turned out. The one other thing that I forgot to mention was the height of this table. It is not quite my height. It's set at 33 5/8 of an inch. I'm used to my old machine, which is set at 43 inches. So it's a little lower. I'm likely going to have to build a base for it. Or find some bolts. These are pre-threaded, these holes here. So I might be able to add some bolts in there and level them up. It's still not going to get me to my 43 inches, but it'll be a little higher. Overall height of this machine is 78 inches. Now for the first cut. I've got a piece of red oak here, 4/4. Let's fire up this machine. Try out a cross cut. Now a rip cut. Do a fancy little angle here, a little swirl. Overall, it cut really smooth with this 5/8 blade. I believe it is a 14 tooth per inch. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think I made the right purchase. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It would help me out. And hit that like button. Thank you.